Hey buddies, you want my opinions on Crysis 3? I didn't give a first impressions review right away, so I thought I'd do one now. First of all, if you're watching this the day it's posted, we're going live at 1 o'clock p.m. with Ocarina of Time. Crysis 3, we played it last Friday, a few days after release, and we played it on the PC specifically because, as you know, Crysis 3 is famous for its incredible graphics on the PC. Having watched some of the gameplay released by the publisher, it does look incredible when you get it maxed out. I have a 6970 on an i7 3.8 gigahertz system. It's an iMac, but running in Windows mode. Just right off the bat, I'll say I had a lot of trouble getting it to do what I considered to be good-looking graphics. In other words, what the publisher released. I couldn't really match it, specifically in lighting, and I think it had something to do with incompatibility with AMD's cards. Somebody in our chat said that AMD had released drivers that could make it work better or something like that, like a few days after, but I didn't do that. If somebody, see, this is a part of PC gaming, and this might be a bit of a topic here as I discuss Crysis 3. PC gaming requires work. It's a hobby, you know, especially when you're going to be on the bleeding edge. I'm not on the bleeding edge because I like have a, 2-year-old graphics card, a decent one, but it was able to run all the settings on high, except for object, which increases the vertices in the models. And I find, honestly, unless you're looking right up at guys' faces, you usually don't notice much of a difference with object vertices. So I left that on medium or low and was able to get a good 60 frames per second out of it. Anti-aliasing I left off because that was the main thing I couldn't get working with my graphics card. There was no difference between full anti-aliasing and zero anti-aliasing. So there was something going on there, which is kind of a shame. And like I said, PC gaming is like it's a labor of love sometimes, because unlike consoles, one of the greatest benefit of consoles is you pop that thing in, and for the most part, you know that it's going to run the exact way that the developer intended, because they custom tailored it to that system. And they got a lot more juice out of it than they would have on a similarly spec'd out PC. Like, consoles, by all intents and purposes, are weak PCs now when you compare them to what I'm running, which itself isn't that powerful of a PC. And because of that, I have to say, like, if I have to recommend a version of Crysis 3 to get, and I've seen comparison videos, I didn't do a comparison myself, but I've seen there's a lot of great comparison videos out there of Xbox 360 versus maxed out PC. The difference certainly is not worth $1,500. Like, you buy a console for under $200 now. If you don't want hard drive space, you can even get one for like $100 almost new nowadays. And then on the other side, you have, to max out Crysis, like a $1,700 PC. So if you're solely doing this, like, in reality, people own powerful PCs for other reasons. So, but if you're speccing out a PC solely to PC game, like, it's a hobby. You're doing this to be a car guy, except in your living room or your bedroom. Like, it's the same mentality. You're doing it so that you can get off on having the best of the best for no other reason other than eye candy, and only a slight bit more eye candy. Like I'm saying, like, if you look at those comparison videos, it is beautiful though when it looks the way that Crysis had intended to look. When you get past like whatever graphical problems I was having, the game itself. I think I'm past this topic then. So Crysis 3, beautiful on a really good PC. Don't bother buying it on the PC though, unless you have an insane system, you happen to have one already. Go ahead and just get it on a console, especially since, as with most EA games, they hold those things hostage. Unlike most PC games, like in the instance of Tomb Raider, which I just pre-ordered for $36 online, you can't get EA games cheap on day one. They don't allow discounts. They they hold those things hostage on Origin, and you don't expect that thing to go down in price anytime soon. So if you want to just play through the story, go buy it, go sell it on console. Just get rid of it secondhand on Craigslist, and you'll get 50 of your bucks back, probably, or 40 bucks back. So anyways, getting to the gameplay, a lot of fun. You know, like it is quite a lot of fun for a first-person shooter. It is a little more unique than your standard Call of Duty fare or even Halo type gameplay because of the suit that you're wearing. You've got the ability to turn on armor. You have a left bumper and right bumper. Left bumper goes into armor mode. Right bumper goes into incognito mode, makes you invisible. Both of them use up suit power. Not as much with the armor mode. Armor mode, you start to walk slower and your suit power goes down very slowly. Like it would probably take a good 5 minutes to lose all that power until you get hit. Once you get hit, it starts to go down faster, like you're losing armor. And then the incognito mode, it goes down. You could stand still probably for 5 minutes, but if you start moving, it starts to drain your energy. And it's just a great way to play. You feel ultimately... Well, you feel ultimate. You feel like a badass because you don't feel like anybody could take you down in this suit. That's not quite true, as I learned later. Even on easy mode, it can be quite challenging, especially when you go about trying to be stealthy. There is no true stealth system in the game, not like, you know, trying to think of a true stealth game. I don't know, Metal Gear Solid or something like that. Like, there is no real cover system either. So when it comes to stealth, there is some abilities. You can increase your ability to take guys down when they don't notice you. But I found it, at least in my preliminary playthrough, that it isn't tailored to stealth. It is tailored to sort of a going in and weeding out, sort of thinning out the ranks before you begin. But ultimately, especially since you can't pick up corpses and hide them, it's nothing like, you know, Hitman, where you can see their view and stuff, or like there are more abilities, of course, again, that you can increase to make yourself more stealthy, but I feel like it's sort of, you're not going in there to be 100% either side. I think that it's good to play half stealth, half action, and that's a good balance with Crysis. But I could be proven wrong. This is a first impression, remember. The weapons are fun, they're futuristic and different and weird, but ultimately, if you're not using the bow, you're probably doing it wrong. It's so fun to use that bow. You feel like a badass. I didn't unlock many other abilities, but oh, melee is also badass because the suit is so powerful. You just pick up guys by their neck and hold them like that in front of you, and then you can throw you can throw their conscious bodies, in fact, at their enemy, or at your enemies, at their buddies. It was fun. I don't think worth full price if you're in it just for the story. I'm sure that multiplayer is a completely different story because it looks like it could be... I haven't seen any reviews for the multiplayer, but it looks like it could be a very interesting experience in multiplayer. Especially with, like, you're going to be certainly more resilient than in most, I think, meta games like, you know, Call of Duty, because of the armor and stuff. So it's going to be more of an attrition warfare instead of just, like, who gets the first headshot, which is cool. I'm not sure. Maybe there are headshots. But as far as if you're in it just for the story, either wait a long time for the price to come down, get it used maybe, or buy it on on consoles so that you can resell it. And Crysis 3, you know, continuing the long-standing tradition of pushing PCs to their boundary, but as usual, hardly worth it. That extra bit of gloss is an expensive... It's an expensive prospect when you're just going in it for the fun of it. And when you're really into the game, if the game's doing its job, you're probably not noticing that extra gloss nearly as much as you would be if you were just watching someone over their shoulder or watching a YouTube video. Once you're into the action, you're just going to be noticing how awesome it is. And it is awesome. So, there you go. If you're hankering for a first-person shooter and you really want to... I'm not sure that the story is going to be the most engaging thing in the world. It's interesting, but maybe only because I don't know anything about the rest of the universe. I'm going into this fresh, not having played Crysis 1 and 2, so half of the time we were spent just trying to figure out what's going on in the world. Story is thin, though, especially playing it alongside BioShock. So again, I don't know. It's up to you. It's an expensive game, so I wouldn't. It's not on my must playlist. That's for sure. Regardless, so see you there today for Ocarina of Time. I love you guys. Bye.